Hello, welcome to the start of a new series, beating Pokemon games with only ice types, and that starts here in FireRed. And right out the gate we need to get a little bit creative, because Pokemon treats the ice type very strangely. To be clear, the ice type is really bad. Probably not the worst, I think Bug and maybe even Poison are still worse, but they are bad. Despite this, the Pokemon games refuse to give you access to ice types until late in the game. Like, really late. We can start getting ice types right after Gym 4, and this is better than most games. So I have to get creative, and that means changing my starter. I'll call it out later when we get there, but we get access to 2 Pokemon at basically the same point. But I'm going to go with Jynx. It's a Psychic Ice type that is quite good, actually. In the interest of preventing my team from over-leveling in the early stages, I have also added the Super Rod to my items. This will let me catch a Shelter in the water in Viridian City. This Pokemon is bad, does not get any more useful when it evolves, but will help me keep my Jynx's level where it should be. Later, we'll get to it. In addition, I have stocked up on rare candies to make leveling more quickly, but my Pokemon will be limited to the max level of the next gym leader. In this case, that is Brock at level 14. And Viridian Forest is very short and easily run through, so it's time for that Brock Bite. On one hand, this is the Rock-type gym. On the other hand, all of Brock's Pokemon are also Ground-type. And so Jynx can just one-shot Brock's entire team. Jynx is very strong for this point in the game, and Powder Snow is super effective, so yeah. Moving on, and the next few areas are actual problems. There are a lot of trainers and a cave system between me and my next destination. Jynx is going to be very strong for a while, but this creates a bit of a level problem. It's very easy to get over-leveled during the next section, but I will do everything I can to prevent that from happening. Which mostly means avoiding any trainer encounters I can and not doing any random fights. Mount Moon does not make this super easy though. Ooh, Thief. Special in this gen, and Jynx can learn it. Okay, we've reached Cerulean City and my level is honestly higher than I'd like. Okay, instead of doing the gym, I'm actually going to head north first. I can clear out some of the required trainers up here and absorb more XP before I need to level to take on Misty. And that gauntlet starts with the Rival. And it is unfortunate that Pidgeotto is not a one-shot with Powder Snow. And then Rattata has Quick Attack. I am not liking this. Is Bulbasaur a one-shot? No, and Sleep Powder finishes me off. Okay, not great, but not terrible. Let's hop back in. Ooh, a freeze. Convenient. Rattata is down in 2. I can use Lovely Kiss to bypass Sleep Powder, but it misses. Twice. So, let's try that again. Wow, I really thought Bulbasaur wouldn't be too bad, but that Sleep Powder is absolutely devastating. Okay, again, lucky crit on Pidgeotto, then a freeze on Rattata. And Bulbasaur woke up after a single turn, but then dies. Good lord. At least the rival's last Pokemon is Abra, which has no attacking moves at this level. Okay, I was not thinking that fight would be that bad, but you know what? I will take it. I still have a few more levels until I hit Misty's ace, so it's time to continue heading north. There are a lot of required trainers here, and the more I can fight before Misty, the better. Good thing Jynx is as strong as it is, because I am just destroying every trainer here. And there's the level cap, so it's time for Misty. Bad news for this fight is water resists ice, and the reverse is not true, so I'm going to have to make this work. Lovely Kiss inflicts sleep when it decides to hit, and Thief and Double Slap are honestly stronger than I thought they'd be. But then comes Starmie, who is the real threat, for many reasons. Water Pulse Confusion is among them, but wow, I got so lucky I never hit myself in confusion, and Lovely Kiss seems to have decided to actually hit. So, that was a first attempt, which is genuinely kind of shocking. Okay, back north to deal with more required trainers and pick up the SSN tickets from Bill. That lets me head south to Vermilion, and I am not liking how high my level is. This is really close. But that's where the surprise Shelter comes in. It's not an ice type, it won't be that until it evolves, but honestly that's close enough. And really this run would have been way easier if I just accepted that I was going to be over-leveled by a bit, because the next fight on the list is once again my rival. Because I can't really do anything else on the SSN, because levels here are real tight. And oh boy, is this fight gonna be rough. Don't get me wrong, Jynx could probably solo my rival's entire team very easily, but would 100% over-level in the process. So I need to try and split that experience a bit, because Jynx is already halfway to level 24, and yes, a smarter, happier me would just accept the overage, but I'm stubborn, really stubborn, and the whole process of getting this to work took lowered 20 minutes with speed up? Okay, let's fast forward to the winning attempt that actually worked. So, start with Shelter, leveled up to level 22. That's enough to take out Pidgeotto. I switch into Jinx to drop Ivysaur's health and put it to sleep, then back into Shelter to finish it off and get half the experience. Shelter is physically very bulky and can take out Raticate by itself, but then in comes Kadabra. I switch in Jinx to put Kadabra to sleep and use Thief to bring it down, and by dividing up that experience, Jinx just barely stays at level 24, so that was inexperience. Okay, I have Cut, so I need to grab a Meowth to use that. This gets me access to the Vermilion Gym, a stupid puzzle, and Shelter can take down the one required trainer to access Lieutenant Surge. And I'm going to lead with Jinx against Lieutenant Surge, who can take out Voltorb easily and get a level up, which gets me Ice Punch. A Lovely Kiss puts Pikachu to sleep, and then one Ice Punch finishes it off. I actually don't need to put Raichu to sleep, do I? No, I don't. All that effort to stay underleveled and the fight was still stupidly easy. Okay, back to Cerulean, and I now have a bike. Hooray! Let's buy some repels because it's time for another long trek. East of Cerulean, I can enter Rock Tunnel. I do need to be careful. The level cap has increased to 29, but that's honestly not that big of a difference, especially when I have so few usable Pokemon. Once more, Shelter will show off its usefulness by eating experience. And I've made it through Rock Tunnel and reached Lavender Town. Jinx is level 29, so I really need to not use it anymore. Good news is that I can actually head directly to the next gym in Celadon City. On the way, I can also pick up the T to access Saffron and buy a Water Stone to evolve Shelter. Now I have Cloyster, a proper ice type. And the next gym is a grass gym, and Jinx is very, very strong, so I'm not super concerned. And I was right not to be. Jinx one-shot sweeps Erica's entire team by just spamming Ice Punch. Jinx is really good. Anyway, time to grab another HM Pokemon in this grass, and grab the Fly HM. Now I have fast travel, and thankfully I do not need to worry about levels, really at all, for a while. The next level cap is 43, so I have a ton of space to just use Jinx, which is nice. Alright, Giovanni, what have you got? In Onyx is nothing, then out comes Kangaskhan. My plan was to take advantage of Cloyster's really high physical defense, but of course sleep only lasts one turn. Cloyster does last a while, but Jinx will need to finish the fight. And the Rhyhorn. Yeah, that was easy. Silph Scope acquired, and it's back to Lavender Town. There is a rival fight here, but you're kind of expected to do this when you first reach Lavender Town, so I'm a bit over-leveled. Gyarados is pretty scary because it is neutral to ice and pretty bulky, and Cloyster needs to come in to wrap up the fight, but otherwise there is nothing to talk about here. I am glad the level cap is so high because wow, there are a lot of required trainers here that are worth nothing. And then I need to reload a save because I accidentally taught over Ice Punch. Whoops. Anyway, completing Lavender Tower gets me the Pokeflute, and this is where the challenge finally becomes more legitimate. South of Lavender Town, I can grab the Super Rod. This lets you catch Shelter in the wild. I could also catch a Poliwhirl and trade it in Cerulean City for a Jinx. So no more nonsense. The run is, more or less, legitimate now. Anyway, in the Safari Zone, I can head through and grab the Gold Teeth and the Surf HM. The Gold Teeth go to the Warden to get the Strength HM. Cloyster gets Surf to have a better Water-type move, and it's time to head into Saffron City, because in this house is Mr. Psychic. A man who will give me the Psychic TM, so now I can teach Jinx Psychic. This should be very useful for the rest of the game. Into Silphco proper to do the very few required trainers here, which Jinx can breeze straight through, and it's time for the next rival fight. But first, let's level up a little bit. Not too much, because there is still some story I need to complete before I will be able to do the next gyms. Anyway, I lead with Cloyster to set up 3 layers of spikes against Pidgeot, then finish it off with Aurora Beam. Cloyster drops to Venusaur, as expected, but Jinx can come in and take out Venusaur with 2 Ice Punches. Lovely Kiss puts Gyarados to sleep, and then it dies. Growlithe is very weak and drops, and then it's just Alakazam, which wastes its only turn using Future Sight. Another rival fight down. Is the first rival battle going to be the only difficult one? Interesting. Anyway, that means this man will give me a free Lapras, another Ice-Water type, and I will be giving it Strength and Surf to improve my HM coverage. While I'm here, I should probably just take out Giovanni again. Giovanni has gotten stronger, but I now have Lapras, who can pretty easily surf through Giovanni's first 2 Pokemon. Actually make that 3 Pokemon thanks to a nice critical hit. Into Cloyster, because high physical defense. Alright, I was really expecting Ice types to perform worse, and yeah, they are actually doing quite well. Is that just because Jinx is really strong? A little bit. Moving quickly on, there are no required gym fights in Sabrina's gym, so I need to reach Koga next. Koga and Sabrina have the same level cap, so I need to unlock both gym leaders and complete the Koga fight without over-leveling to stay within the rules. So it's Koga time. Probably just leave Jinx at level 41. Jinx has Psychic, and Koga is a Poison Specialist, and Yeah, Psychic is all I really need. Muck is pretty durable, so the fight does take longer than you might expect, mostly because of Hyper Potions, but it doesn't matter. Jinx was always going to take out his team by itself. And that means I can head over to the Saffron Gym, vibe out the teleports to reach Sabrina without getting into any fights, and it's time. No reason to stay underleveled here, 43s across the board. I am still using Jinx for this fight, not sure how effective Thief will be, but okay, not bad damage. And Calm Mind does not save you. Yeah, I'd love to have an actual strategy here, but it's really just spam Thief. Alakazam has Recover. Ooh, a Freeze. Okay, Sabrina has Full Heals, that's good to know. Let's use Lovely Kiss for Sleep. Oh, I'm silly, I should switch into Lapras. This is a Lapras fight. High bulk and strong physical move and strength. Yeah, that was way easier. Definitely a better strategy, and that is 6 gyms down. And time to round out my team a bit more before the next gym, which I can now do thanks to being able to surf. And that starts with this Seal, not to be confused with a Seal. I can level up with rare candies to immediately evolve it into the Ice Water Dugong, and yes, that is 3 Water Ice Pokemon. Gen 1, baby. And there is one more Pokemon here to grab, and that is the legendary bird, Articuno, which I can use a Master Ball on. Now, normally I would not use a legendary Pokemon in these runs, however, I'm making an exception for 2 reasons. 1, Articuno is surprisingly weak. I mean, 570 BST is good, but that's weaker than pseudo-legendary Pokemon I've already used in other challenges. Second reason is that there are only 5 Pokemon in the entire region that are Ice-type, so yeah, I'm already going to be a little bit of a disadvantage because I'm not going to have a full team. And, spoiler, Articuno is not actually going to be making as big a difference as you might think. We'll get to it. Anyway, south of Palatown to Cinnabar Island, rappel my way through the mansion. Blizzard. That might end up being useful. Anyway, the real thing I'm here for is the secret key, which unlocks the gym. And this gym is a Fire-type gym, which would normally be scary for Ice types, except 3 of my 5 Pokemon are also Water types, so let's see if Blaine can actually threaten me in any way. I lead with Dugong, by mistake, so I need to switch into Lapras, who can surf down Growlithe, and Ponyta, thanks to a Fire Blast miss. Rapidash hits fairly hard, but also dies in one surf, and all that's left is Arcanine. And there goes Arcanine. Yep, that was a one-shot sweep. So it's back to Viridian City for the last gym, and while this gym has a lot of trainers and some puzzles, you actually only need to fight 2 trainers, leave, and come back, and that lets you bypass all the puzzling. Alright, Giovanni is a ground-type trainer. I have all ice types. This should be pretty easy. Oh, I should also take this opportunity to use the TM I got from Sabrina to teach Jinx Calm Mind, because that means she has a sleep move, a buffing move, and 2 strong attacks. You may be able to see where this is going. Anyway, lead with Jinx and set up Calm Mind, then Ice Punch. And some more Ice Punch. Dugtrio does hit fairly hard and is faster, but then Ice Punch. Nidoqueen is also faster, but not fast enough, and Ice Punch. I should have put that first Rhyhorn to sleep so it couldn't drop my speed. Anyway, send in Dugong to hit a Sheer Cold? Huh, I really didn't expect that to work. Okay. Time for another rival fight. Ice Punch one-shots Pidgeot, and Rhyhorn. I then switch into Lapras against the Growlithe to take it down safely. Wow, Venusaur is really strong. Good thing Lapras has Ice Beam. Dugong, will you hit a Sheer Cold? No, sad. Oh well. Gyarados can't really hurt Jinx. So I set up 2 Calm Minds and take out the Gyarados and Alakazam with 1 more Ice Punch each. Okay, the Ice-type may suck, but at least the Ice-type Pokemon I've got access to are quite strong. Love that. Alright. Time for some obnoxious Victory Road puzzles, which we are going to skip because nothing interesting happens here. And it's time for some setup, which mostly consists of buying all the healing items I can afford. How many PP restoring items do I have? 1 elixir, 2 max elixirs, 1 ether? That's probably enough. I am expecting Jinx to do a lot of carrying this run, but that is a lot of move restorations. And we level up. I will be limited to the max level of the next Elite Four member going forward, so let's see how this goes. First up is Lorelei, another ice specialist, which is a bit rough because the only type ice resists is also ice. Good news is Dugong can't really deal any damage, so I can put it to sleep and set up a bunch of Calm Minds on Jinx. Ice Punch may be useless here, but Psychic at +6 should be pretty effective. I guess I need to be saying something in this section of the script so I can show Psychic one-shotting the rest of Lorelei's team. Oh, right, Slowbro is Psychic type. I guess I can just crit one-shot with Ice Punch. Nice! And the Jinx Mirror match. Okay, 5 double slaps. Bit rude. Doesn't change anything, but it is mean. And that is Lorelei down, pretty easily soloed with 1 Pokemon. Alright, next on the list is Bruno, who is actually a bit scarier. Good news, Psychic is good against fighting. Bad news, fighting is good against ice. As with Lorelei, my best bet is to put Bruno's first Pokemon to sleep and then Calm Mind. Onix is pretty weak, but Rock Tomb reduces speed. Ugh. So, while Jinx can easily take out Onix, Hitmonchan comes in and finishes off Jinx. Okay, not a great start. Let's send in Articuno for their one time in the spotlight. Aerial Ace is not as strong as I'd like, and Articuno takes a lot of damage before dropping to Machamp. Okay. Lapras is pretty bulky, so we finish off Machamp and deal really good damage to Hitmonlee, who is doing a lot of damage in return. Dugong survives an attack and hits a sheer cold? And Bruno's last Pokemon is another Onix, which dies to a single Surf. Okay, I was sure I was going to lose that fight, but Dugong really clutched it up with another sheer cold. Alright, next up is Agatha, and her team is pretty neutral across the board, except it is entirely weak to Psychic. So yeah. Oh, her ace is faster than Jinx, which is not quite enough to one-shot, but it came closer than I was expecting. Anyway, that fight is over. One more Elite Four member left, and he is a Dragon Specialist. My entire team is Ice, which would be better if he had more dragons and less not a dragon at all. I lead with Lapras, which I taught Shockwave from a TM for exactly this reason, because Gyarados is really weak to electric moves, although it is also very beefy on the special side. Oh, of course Aerodactyl gets the Omni boost, why wouldn't it? Cloyster has pretty good physical bulk, let's send it to finish off Aerodactyl. Okay, that was pretty good. How did Cloyster outspeed Dragonair? Okay, second Dragonair does survive, but now it's time to send in Jinx. Ice Punch finishes off the second Dragonair, and all that's left is the 4 times weak Dragonite, and that is Lance. So, there is one more fight to go, against my rival, again, for a final time. And it's time for Jinx to once again be broken. Sleep into 2 Calm Minds, then an Ice Punch to take out Pidgeot, then Rhydon. Gyarados takes 2 Ice Punches, but wastes a turn on Dragon Rage. Arcanine has extreme speed and lives a Psychic, but then heals, and apparently Psychic was a range. Venusaur is next, and 1 Ice Punch finishes it off. And last up is Alakazam, who falls to 1 Ice Punch. And that is it, the final fight in this ice-only run. And that was Pokemon FireRed, beaten with only Ice types. And I was really not expecting Jinx to be so strong. I mean, I've used Jinx before in my Psychic series, but I guess there I had an Alakazam to do the exact same thing. But having both Sleep and Setup on one Pokemon that is very strong is very strong. But I will have more to say about that in the summary video, out in a few weeks. I did want to shout out that I do have a Patreon, linked in the description. I spend a lot of time making these videos. So if you enjoyed the video, want to support the channel, and are financially stable enough to do so, that exists. No pressure though, this channel is free to enjoy for everyone, and will remain that way. For now, if you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you'd like to see more of this, feel free to subscribe. Hey, maybe leave a comment if you have something you'd like to say. But whatever you decide to do, have a safe trip home.